Hello guys, happy Lionsgate Portal. My name is Edith. A lot of you guys just know me maybe under my Instagram name, Earth Crystals con Amor, but I am Edith. I am from Los Angeles, California. To be exact, Highland Park, that's where I live. And I was born in Honduras, Central America. So I speak Spanish as well, so I'm bilingual. If you hear a couple words that come in Spanish or English, that's just how I communicate, right? Like the Spanglish that they call it. But I'm so honored. I'm so grateful and thankful to be able to have my platform, as little or as big as it is. That doesn't matter. It's just about sharing my view on things, my opinion, and just being honest and vulnerable. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to say that what I say it's the only thing. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to say what I say is right. This is just my opinion. This is my take on things, and I trust and I know that your intuition led you here because there's a message for you to hear, or there's something that you will take from here. And my ultimate goal behind everything that I do is to inspire, is to help. It's to help you get to the next phase of the best version of yourself. But one thing that I'm not here to do is to tell you what you need to do, right? Specifically because we're all going through our own journey. And I include myself because that's always been Edith, right? And Edith is always going to be a student. But now Edith has also done a lot of work. Thankfully, I'm in a different place in my life where I also feel more comfortable, more confident, more honest with myself of being able to have these vulnerable and honest conversations. So this is what this is all about. Today, I want to talk about a topic, forgiveness. That's a very challenging topic at times to talk about because it can trigger many other things in our life, memories, life lessons, life journeys, many things, right? But it's something that is really liberating. Again, my experience, my opinion. But yes, I want to share a little bit more about it. A little backstory. I was eating breakfast this morning and I kept channeling, and my guides were like, write a vulnerable letter to your younger self and share it. So then I'm like, okay, I was sitting with it. I opened a new box of a deck that I did a pick a card for today that I'll post later on. But I opened it, I connected with it. I usually connect with it to see how the energy is, and then I usually pick cards for me, or I allow spirit to give me the messages, right? And the first card that came out for me was forgiveness. So I'm like, it's double confirmation. So I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do it. Today's such a powerful day that I really feel called to work with it and to share this topic. So yes, that's a little backstory. Forgiveness, it's challenging at times because I feel like a lot of us or a lot of people sometimes identify it as forgiving the other person, that it was okay what they did. And a lot of times it's not just that other person, forgiving ourselves, right? It always, to me, a lot of things always reflect back to us, of us really being honest and conversating with others, or opening up that conversation about just being kind and vulnerable, because at times that's very challenging. And that's something that I really feel more, I feel like in my culture, the Latina culture, women, that's not really taught on us. I didn't grow up really with that image. At least in my household, that wasn't very open in the sense of you can talk about your emotions. It was more like it's something forbidden, right? Like taboo to say, or you need to just figure it out. That kind of feeling. And I understand now, and I've reflected a lot of that. It's because a lot of my family members, they also grew up like that. And they've never actually given themselves the opportunity to heal, to heal their traumas, to heal their path, and many other things, right? The old self version of myself that hadn't put in the work to heal, that was very challenging because a lot of times that's just the way I knew how to identify who Edith was, right? There was some type of attachment of my family members. And I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, because to each its own, but to me, it affected me in many different ways. In the sense also where I didn't find myself till my older self, when I really allowed myself to go within and honor my emotions and honor my journey. One of the biggest lessons in life healing journeys that I've shared is my marriage, my divorce. But more came with that, right? I also now look back and I analyze a lot of different things that happened before my marriage, after my marriage, in my marriage, and it didn't only reflect that partner in me. A lot of it came down to myself. And now I honor that. Now I'm okay with saying and taking responsibility for that. And when I started my journey, my healing journey, my journey to honoring my emotions, my traumas, my feelings, the abuse that I had as a child, many other things that came, it was by forgiving myself. Because there was a lot of guilt that I never openly talked about to anyone, let alone to myself. And I would blame myself for situations. My marriage was one of them, right? I would analyze and say, well, it's your fault because you stayed there for X amount of time, right? At the end of the day, we do have to take responsibility for our actions. I identify a lot of that by being able to be vulnerable, right? Being able to acknowledge what role did you play in that relationship, in that phase of your life, whatever it is, right? And then going from there. When I was in a point in my life where I felt like I hit rock bottom, it was after my divorce. But that now I understand a lot of that. It was like my real awakening, the real time that I had alone with myself to honor who I was and to find out who I was, because I didn't know who I was. I always identified some type of happiness being with someone, whether it was a partner, a friendship, a family member, anyone. Again, I'm not saying that it's not good to be in a relationship or have that tie or, that connection. However, to me, and I know for a lot of people, it becomes a problem when you feel that you need them. That if you don't have that in your life, you're not complete, right? Again, to each its own. This is my story, my opinion I'm sharing. But that was very challenging. After my divorce, I really had to be alone with myself. I really had to have honest conversations and understand why certain things in life kept repeating themselves. Certain cycles, certain lessons kept repeating, and then every time the lesson would come back again, it'd just be a little harder, right? Now I associate that as my guides, as my angels of like, okay, you didn't learn the lesson, you didn't put in the work, so here it goes again, and let me throw a little bit more in it. And that was very challenging because and that's when I really had to be honest. I feel like after my divorce, just to give that example, I was still in denial in the sense of like the inner work that I needed to heal and the inner work that I needed to do, that I kept attracting people into my life, not just partners, but people, friendships, people into my life that were not healthy, that were trying to teach me a lesson of boundaries, of self-love, of honoring my energy, following my intuition, figuring out who I was, X amount of things, because I wasn't allowing myself, right? I felt like I needed people or just someone there to make me feel like I was complete, I am enough, right? And then a couple of times after those relationships, when I honored my true self and I really sat down and said like, yeah, it's not getting any better and this continues to repeat itself, that's when it really happened for me. I started seeing a therapist, a psychiatrist for a couple of years. That psychiatrist really helped me. Mental health is another thing that I feel like a lot of times people don't speak about. It's a topic that it's forbidden, or it's also like still a taboo topic. Or I know many people that see a psychiatrist because they're helping them with many things and they're taking medicine, right? Medication. And that to them, it's like, and more in my community, it's still seen like that. Oh, you're going to get addicted to them, or you're going to become crazy, or you're está loca, But we need to stay away from that. That was the one reason why I didn't see a psychiatrist, because I was a therapist or psychiatrist. I don't remember which one is the one that can prescribe medication, but whoever that title, comes with, I was very scared to see them because I was like, no, I don't want to take medicine. I didn't take medicine because I did other things that really helped me. but that's a little bit more deep. I want to share that later on, but again, that was one of the biggest fears for me, to sit and talk to a psychiatrist, because I didn't want to take medication, because I was scared to take some type of medication. I faced that fear. I allowed myself to be vulnerable. It took me a couple of people to find someone that I really connected with. That's another thing. I had this fear with men, and I wouldn't see a male psychologist. Then my psychologist, I don't remember the title of them, but the point is that one of my psychiatrists that really helped me, something happened, she had to leave, she moved, and I had to find someone new. And the only person at the time they had that could see me was a male psychiatrist. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna let my fear go with it. And I allowed myself to be seen by him. And that was one of my best experiences. So now that I look back, I know those was fears that I needed to face, this trust issues that I had with men, the bad examples and relationships that I had with men in my life. So I share that because we always sometimes have to really go within, right, with things that trigger us, but it's for a reason. So I trust that's coming up for a reason and why I'm sharing it. But, you know, be fearless. Allow yourself to be in the moment. Allow yourself to really forgive yourself for your past version, because the past version of you does not define you right now. It will never define you. That's your past, but you've learned. And that's the goal behind of this, right? Of living and learning. But if you're living and repeating it, that's when it becomes a problem, because you're not being honest with yourself. To me, forgiveness, it's really going within and honoring yourself of why you took those decisions and being conscious, right, of why you did that. Not all the times is there going to be a reason to a lot of things. And I feel that's another thing that's very challenging to us. Like, we just want to find a reason. We just want to find an answer. And if we don't find that, we're like not content. And that's not true. That's not how it's going to happen, right? And all of our healing journeys, again, it's going to be different. I started really putting in the work. And then after I saw a psychiatrist that didn't really work with my schedule, I wanted to try something new. That's when I started into breath work, meditation, yoga. I started doing pranic healing. I started doing a lot of things, and circles, you know, therapy classes, a lot of great things that truly helped me. So what helped me, that doesn't mean it's going to help you. And I want to empower you and tell you there is something for you. Books is another thing that really helped me with healing as well. When I wasn't ready to speak about how I was feeling, I bought different books that helped me understand that. I would read a book and then I would be like, wow, this person really was going through what I was going through. One of the books that I always talk about is Brene Brown, and I want to say Rising Strong. I don't have it with me, but that was a powerful book because she talks about being vulnerable. And I remember reading that book and just feeling like, wow, there's somebody that can identify with me, and her life got better. And it's a woman too. So again, you know, just try different things, but be kind with yourself. And one of the activities that I want to do today is writing that letter to that younger version of Edith. And I will do that more in private, but I want to share this and open the opportunity to see if this is something you want to do now or maybe later along in your journey. And I want to share a little bit about what I'm going to talk about to hope to inspire you, right? To help you. And what if you're not ready to write that letter? That's okay. But just still honor how you feel. And be okay with saying, I forgive myself for who I was in that point in my life, but that no longer identifies me. That's a challenging part that it takes us X amount of time at times to realize and be honest. But I want to share 3 things that if I could, you know, tell my younger self, I would say to her. One of the biggest things, I forgive you for staying in relationships that weren't healthy. It gets me even emotional to think of that. I forgive you for not following your heart. I forgive you for giving your power away. It makes me emotional, and it makes me feel vulnerable and raw, but that's the honest truth. You know, I'm not perfect. No one is. But I want to assure you that if your intuition led you to see this video, it's for a reason. You're ready to heal. You're ready to forgive. You're ready to be the best version of yourself. And most importantly, you're ready to take your power back, whatever that means to you. But honor who you are. Be okay with being who you are. It's gonna cut off for me at 16 minutes here on IG, but I wanna share my I am affirmations for the day. I am unique. I am giving. I am blessed. I am kind. I'm unique. I am brave. I am determined. I am happy. I am authentic. I am loved. And I am powerful. I thank you, if you stayed this long, for the energy exchange. And I want to remind you that you are an amazing soul and that you will heal. And that everything happens for a reason. And I want to end it with the last affirmation. I am now attracting an abundance of money, health, and great people into my life. Blessings.